Hey everyone, Dan here. Today we're going to take a look at a trade idea for Upstart. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also, if you would like to receive a once or twice per week email newsletter starting in August, I will be sending one out with additional trade ideas, setups, plays, opportunities that I see, interesting factoids that I find as it relates to the market. There's a link in the description below to a Google form where you can throw your email in there, and I will send you a note before I send the first email newsletter in August and let you know what it's going to be, what you can expect, and give you an opportunity to opt out at that time if you're no longer interested. All right, so Upstart is showing some interesting levels to me, and I wanted to share those. As with everything that I put out, don't blindly follow any of these ideas. Do your own due diligence, do your own charting, do your own research, whatever it is that you do to make your decisions, and just take some of the ideas that I'm sharing here as just that. They're just ideas. You may disagree, you may agree, but definitely make your own decisions and don't blindly follow anybody. So there's a few key levels that I'd like to point out here, and then we'll draw on some trends. So right about where it is now, there's pretty key level here because you have this previous resistance here and here, previous support here and here and here, and then it's established support along that at the moment, briefly turned it to resistance, but has once again regained it as support. So to me, this zone at 119.13, pretty interesting. If we do need additional support to the downside, the areas that I would be on the lookout for are this one here around 105. You see the support here, you see resistance here, support here, and resistance over here, of course. The sort of like elephant in the room that I'd be very cautious of if it does get some downward momentum is anything that looks like it's at risk to come down and fill this gap. That obviously would be a big drop down. This would push it down into the low 60s at a bare minimum. And so I would just be very cautious of that. That said, this gap came about almost 4 months ago at this point. So the likelihood of it coming down to fill it just because it exists seems to be diminishing rapidly given the time frame that exists between when it was created and today. So those are the levels that I'm looking at the moment. Obviously to the upside, I see strong level here around 134, 135. Same reason, support and resistance all along. And then if it can get through that, I would look for an area right around here. Well, there might be an addition, one first right around 145, and then in like the 150s, right about there. So those are the areas that I'm looking for to the upside. Now, let's sort of talk about some trendy kind of stuff. So we do have a trend line, I think. It looks like it's going from the low here, cuts through this area, and then we could extend that up right along here. So it's pretty close to where we are right now. But you see it captures well over 95% of the price action that exists. And it has like additional support there that it'll bring in soon. That trend line will be up over the current area of support at this like 119-ish level. So that should offer some additional help if it's needed on the downside, and could help then propel it up as it continues to sort of like make these higher lows if that trend continues. Now, the other thing that I'm looking at is on the fib side of things. So if we look at this most recent push up, we take the retracement from there to, what is this, 191.89. Okay, let me get myself situated here. you do see it. Oh, let me change this color so we can decipher it. So you see it's following really closely with these supply and demand zones, which is what I like to see, that the blue and the yellows are tracking really close together. And essentially what it's doing now in this retracement is it's coming down and consolidating along this 6.18 retracement zone, retracement level at 124, and essentially treating that 136.97, that 50%, as like the first level of resistance on the upside. And so I think that there's a good opportunity for bounce here, not just because of the supply and demand, but because of the retracement levels, and be looking for it to kind of make a run up toward this 149 range, which is sort of in line with my 152 supply. And yeah, that's primarily a supply zone, but to see if it can be turned into a demand zone on the upside. But that's what I'm looking for from Upstarts. Definitely good luck if you're in this one, or if you're already trading it. These are sort of some zones that I would look for price action catalysts, if you will. We could do a really quick look at the indicators before I forget. So we are sitting really low on the RSI, definitely not super near oversold territory, but definitely below the midline, and so that obviously could bring some additional buying pressure into Upstart just by nature of it being more oversold than overbought, relatively speaking. And on the MACD, we do see the bearish momentum, which had come in quite strongly and had sort of matched how strong this bearish area was. We see that sort of winding down now, and the MACD and the signal line are getting close to this sort of kissing pattern, as I call it, when they first touch. What I would like to see, if it's going to make a nice move up, is something like a steep crossover like this, as opposed to something like less steep, I guess, more flat. That steep crossover will signal some really strong buying pressure coming in that could legitimately result in some bullish momentum that lasts or has some strength to it. Because we do see this bullish histogram area here, this momentum, much stronger than the subsequent bullish momentum. So the fact that that's dying down a little bit, is something to keep an eye on for sure. But we'll see. This is very, very close to crossing over at the moment, which would then sort of kick things off, and we'll see how much sort of buying pressure it has, or how much firepower it has to the upside there. Can it really make a run toward that 150, or does it get stalled out pretty quickly along that's like 135, 136 area? All right, well, that will do it for this video. I definitely appreciate you watching. Feel free to share these on Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you talk stocks or consume stock information. I definitely appreciate the shares. And I hope you had a good trading week and that you enjoy the weekend, and I will see you in the next video.